the road.
Now, we're seeing a rise in deadly traffic accidents. There's no doubt about that. We've seen a significant high, in fact. A 30-year high was hit last year with 750 traffic fatalities. That's up from 675 the year before. Here's the director of Traffic Safety Commission, Shelley Baldwin.
These are not just numbers. These are families and friends and coworkers whose lives have been lost and left the people around them grieving.
And it's important to understand that. These are people's lives that have been taken because of some incident that happened on the road. And it is important to try to come up with solutions to mitigate the impacts of traffic fatalities. Do what we can to ensure that it doesn't happen, understanding, however, that it will, right? There is a balance. We want to make it as safe as possible, but we also want to understand and keep in mind, I should say, that it is going to happen. So what balance does there need to be to embrace driving, understanding we need it, while also maintaining some level of safety? And for Jay Inslee, he thinks it's speeding cameras, presumably on highways.
I really believe, just from what I've heard so far, we ought to have speed cameras and we ought to put them to work and we ought to save hundreds of lives. And the fact we're not doing that, frankly, is a little frustrating right now.
Okay. He's frustrated. You can hear it. I'm frustrated. I mean, it's the first time I brought it up in public. I don't think I've ever talked about it before, certainly not recently, but I've been frustrated for a long time. Not frustrated enough to actually express my frustration up until yesterday, but I'm frustrated. And for Jay Inslee, he says the data's there.
But we can't allow this carnage to continue when we have a technology that works.
We have a technology that works, except doesn't work. I'm asking because I'm kind of curious. He didn't present any information. And generally speaking, when someone says something works but doesn't explain what the data is and what it shows, what it can pretend, generally they're just kind of guessing. Oh, maybe it does. I don't know.
You don't want to take him for his word?
No. I learned long ago not to do that with Jay Inslee. So what did we just do? Do you remember when it comes to traffic cameras? Do you remember what we just did? It just happened. Legislation passed. What was it? I'm not helping you. Why are you looking at me? What do you want me to whisper the answer? You want me to go ahead and tell you that it's like putting these traffic cameras in work zones on highways? Why would I ever do that?
Yeah,
Why don't you pay attention? Look at your notes.
It's the work zone things.
Oh, hey, see? If you put your mind to it, you can figure it out. We allowed for work zone cameras on highways, freeways. And you know what data we have? Say zero. Zero data. Why is it? Because we just did it.
We just
implemented them. And so we don't have data yet to suggest that this does anything. And I'm not entirely sure that even 1 year's worth of data is all that meaningful on something like this because it is being used in such a limited way. We don't have a budget to do a whole lot of projects on freeways. Thus, we have limited applicability so far for these speed zone cameras. And even Democrats say we're not ready to expand their use. You have Marco Elias, who was very, very far to the left, who was the guy responsible for the work zone cameras on freeways, saying, we'll go where the data takes us, but want to actually see the data. So he's pushing for something, I think, because this administration believes that they're going to get some extra points for it, that they're going to be seen as trying to tackle an issue, but really it was probably the first time this even came up for him while speaking in public. And so he decided to just lean into something, anything that came to mind first that he thinks could potentially maybe kind of sort of help.